Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another episode and another season of Beyond Small Talk. I'm your host, Hajiya Abdulaziz Muhammad, and for this second season, our theme is service and self-development. I'm very excited about the topics and guests we have lined up for you. Today, we'll be talking about education, discipline, and upbringing. First off, I have with me Hajiya Bilkisu. She's a teacher and a school owner. She started her school from 1 student and 1 class to over 70 students now. Hajiya Bilkisu, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm honored for having me here.
Alaikum salam. The honor is ours. All right, so before we start, can you share a little bit about your background with us?
Yeah, I'm just this little girl growing up, the last one of my family. Grew up without knowing who my father was because I lost him when I was barely 2 years old. So it was my mother, a very strong woman. Anyway, I don't want to go talking about her because it makes me emotional. I just lost her of recent. So what she gave me, it's something that is irreplaceable. She gave me something that I have to give it back to the society. You understand? She stood and made sure that all of us, we had the best we could, the best education, the best of moral upbringings. She was a rock. You understand? She was not really around because she was running around for us, but she made sure that what she inculcated in us was something beyond us, something we cannot just stay out of us. It was instilled in us and it was just part of us, you understand? It's like blood running into our veins, something that we can never tear apart. And it's not as if she was harsh. No, she wasn't. Her bedrock was just Allah. He was just out there for her. Went to my primary school. I went to Corona Primary School in Lagos, came back to FGGC Kazaure. I will forever be grateful to FGC Kazaure. FGC Kazaure molded me to who I am today, part of what molded me, because then it was a unity school for every part of Nigeria. Everybody was around, both Yorubas, Igbos, whatever language you could have. So we're all together there in unity. We learned from them. They learned from us. You understand? So it was my little second family. After that, I went for my university education. After that, I did my, what do they call PGDE? From there, did my master's. That's all I can say about my little biography about myself.
That was, mashallah.
I'm married with 4 beautiful kids. Alhamdulillah.
Mashallah. May Allah bless them. And may Allah have mercy on your parents. Your mother sounds like a very amazing person.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So you have a school. Can you share with us how you started that school?
Yeah, as honestly speaking, because whatever I want to say here, I want to be honest. Yeah. That's just the basic thing. I never intended having any school. In fact, I don't really like being around kids. Even my kids, once we're sitting in the living room and I have 2 or more people sitting down in that living room, I become uncomfortable. I just switch to my room. At times they come to meet me, Ami, why is it that we are sitting in the living room? You are not there. It's just me. I don't really like crowd. But Allah has ways of doing his things. And now he was like, so when I was working before, so I lost the job, and that's the reality. So when I lost it, I was like telling my husband, what will I do now? He was like, so what do you want to do? Where we were living, it was a rented apartment. So there were people upstairs. So there was also boys quarter. So my husband was like, okay, why not use the boys quarter and start a nursery? Daycare. Okay. I was like, no, it's going to be very, very inconveniencing because, people coming in and we have neighbors. It's not only us in there. Just let it be. Allah will bring something else. So our neighbors upstairs, they now packed, built their own house and left. So my husband was like, okay, the place is vacant. Why can't we ask the landlord if we can use upstairs as our class? I was like, okay, good and fine. So, okay, but now we are constrained. You understand? Financially, we're constrained. Okay, what's going to happen if we pay for the rent now? So how? But school requires a lot of things. You have to buy these, make it look fancy. You understand? For it to attract people to come. So he was like, don't worry, let's just start. I was like, okay, good and fine. So we now went, we rented the apartment. I was like, okay, how do we start? Print flyers. We printed flyers, gave it out. My kids, they were in, I think, primary 3 to 4, going to another school. So it was the last one. He was just barely 2 then. So who are we going to start with? Nobody is willing to bring, we are just starting. It's very difficult for people to bring in their kids. He was like, don't worry, just start with Hibban. I said, okay, fine. There was, as in, normally if you want to start a business, definitely you will sit and like say, okay, I have 10,000 naira. I want to start this business with. We started from, as in nothing, absolutely nothing. There was no chair, no nothing. I think it was just the table he was using to eat. So we took it upstairs, exactly. So we started with him.
Wow.
So we now, and that's okay, let me first be the teacher before somebody comes. We now wrote that out and advert that, okay, we're looking for a teacher. So there was one girl that came, I think she just finished her university. She was about to go for service. So I was telling her that, okay, are you interested? She now said, yeah, how many students? I told her that one, we only have one student. She was like, one, how can she be teaching one person? I said, no problem, just be playing with him.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, okay, no problem. She now said, okay, she'll go and tell her mom if her mom is okay with it. She told her mom is okay, well, I'm fine. She now came. So my husband was like, okay, your salary is going to be 10,000 naira only. If it's okay with you. She now said, okay, no problem. So she started. When she started, we now made banner and put it by the gate. So one of our neighbors at the back now came for inquiry. Okay, we have you people started? How many students do you have? That was the first thing he even asked. I don't know why. I was like, okay, we only have one student. One. I said, yes, he's the only person. If you can bring your son, they can start together. He was like, okay, no problem. He brought his son. They started together. For the first time, it was only the two of them.
Okay. And they were in the same class?
They were in the same class because they were of the same age.
Yeah.
So second term, I was telling my husband that let's just forget about this thing. He said, don't worry, they will come. I was like, oh. And so that second time too, it's second time now. So most kids were in other school. There was nobody. There were still two.
Okay.
So third time's two. So third time I was like, this is third time. We'll go to another session. Is this how they will go to? This is pre-nursery. They go to nursery. It's just two kids. Don't worry. Believe in Allah. I was like, okay, inshallah, Allah will make it easy. So at the third term, when we're about resuming for first term, so I now started seeing people, as in, coming for inquiry. I was like, wow, is this for real? They were like, come in. I was like, So my husband then, when he collects his salary, okay, buy one table, put it like this. You go and buy, there was this rocking chair. Okay, get this one. That was how we're buying it one by one. So by that first term, we had about 10 kids from the neighborhood. They came. 10 of them came. So I was like, wow, 10. A month into the term again, 5 came. At the end of the first term, I think we had about 30
students.
Yeah.
Wow.
30 students, exactly, 30. So I was like, he was not telling me, Kinga Ikwang Allah. I was like, yeah, I have seen Ikwang Allah. So into second term, we started. So when I now sat down, I was like, okay, now let me sit down and like really focus and see how is this going to be? What is my intention? What do I really want to give? What's the purpose of all this? So I now sat down, I was telling myself, okay, let's map out what exactly do we want to give out? What do we expect also the parent in return? So we started. So what I was dishing out, my husband was like, karma ki fara. Ni ba na son wannan. Kin san yadda mutanen mu suke, kai ki zo ki fara irin wasu abubuwa su zo su ce gaskiya su ba su yadda ba. Wani ce Allah ka tafur in ba za su iya ba sai dai su tafi. This is what I want because I know the decadence we have in the society and I want to make things right. I know I cannot do it alone, but at least, even if everybody is doing something bad, let somebody at least do something right. No matter how minute it is. To ni dai ba ruwana, na dai gaya miki. And I said, no problem. I started first with, okay, what kind of uniform do I want? Because at that period, they were only wearing, I think, a t-shirt with jeans.
Okay.
So I said, okay, what? And I said, okay, I want every day to have a uniform. Monday, there's something they wear. Tuesday, Wednesday, up to Friday. And I said, okay, Friday, what will they wear? I said, okay, Friday being Friday, why not the boys should wear kaftan, something like kaftan. Then Martin should wear something like gown.
Yeah.
So then we took atampa, but later on I was like, no, atampa, we now made check. It was what they wear on Friday. Then that second day, I now said, okay, what do I want? I want the boys to be wearing wristwatch. Because I want them to have that sanity that, okay, whenever they should be out in whatever they are doing, we should know that there's time for everything. Girls, I don't want girls wearing dangling earrings. I want them to wear only stud earrings. There is going to be a hairstyle for every child every 2 weeks. The boys should make sure they bob their head. Nails have to be clipped. Like that, I was just sitting my he was like, and they must wear singlets or brief. With pants, it's a must. Socks, why?
So you were very particular about the dressing.
I was particular and intentional about everything I wanted. So at those 30 kids we had, so into going to the second year, You understand? So I now also made a timetable about what they bring to school to eat. On Mondays, this is what they will bring. Mondays and Wednesdays, they can bring their biscuit and juice and whatever junk they want to eat. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's only strictly food and water only. I don't want to see any biscuit or chocolate or sweet. No. Then on Fridays, only fruits. If you have banana, watermelon, mango, whatever, give your child. Just wanted them to have the sanity and have everything, as in that is what I wanted.
You should be disciplined in
They should be disciplined about,
aspect.
This is what I'm supposed to do and this is what I'm not supposed to do. They can go back to their homework because I felt, with that discipline in them as they are growing up, they will go back and there are some certain things that we're supposed to do. There are some certain things that we're not supposed to do. There's some things that we're supposed to eat and too much of all this. I was like, even some parents came and were complaining to me. How can you say, they are just little kids now? Why wouldn't they have their biscuit? Why wouldn't they have their juice? I was like, no. Everything, it's what a child is just like a sponge. When you put sponge inside water, it will absorb so much water. But when you squeeze it out, you understand, it goes out. So forget about those juice. After all, they are all junk. So what benefit have they in their health? So please just limit it. After all, I'm trying to cut down cost for you people. You understand? Rather than giving them all these junks every day, at least you limit it just twice in a week. You can, with time, you will learn to cut all those things off their diet for them. So we're like, when they need the
I can imagine.
Year, some withdrew their kids. So babu yadda za ka tashi wani kawai na tashi wata rana ban son bayar wani abinci kawai biskit zan bashi da lemo ya tafi makaranta sannan wata ta ce wai ga abin da zai kawo makaranta. They cannot do it. Well, I'm fine. So that 30, going into the second year, they became 20.
All right, so before we get into that, I have another question. Okay, so from 30 students, you went down to 20.
Yeah.
Your discipline and your rules in the school are probably the reason the parents decided they couldn't do it.
Yes.
So what do you think is too much discipline and what is too little discipline? How do you balance both?
The two. Yeah, a discipline will be too much when a child does something wrong. Hey, come here. Why you do this? You hurricane, you slash. Kneel down there. Do this, do that. No. We are Muslims, and whatever you want to do, you must inculcate that Islamic culture into you. If you really want to have a smooth ride, you must. So the basic thing I feel, and I know the right thing for you in raising kids and when disciplining them is just let those children have taqwa. Once they have taqwa in them, knowing that, this thing I'm doing is wrong. This thing I'm doing it right. As kids, they might not really get it because they are kids, you understand? Kids as in they are growing, especially if they're in their teens. Well, that thing we call Tasham Balaga, they feel they can do anything. Nobody will tell them not to do it. So what do you want to show me? You understand? You understand?
I do.
So just teach them about taqwa. This thing, and let them be conscious that whatever they are, however they are, and wherever they are, Allah is watching. You want to go and pick meat from your mother's pot, Allah is watching me. Even if he eats it, he will feel bad that, I was not supposed to eat this. My mommy is not here, but I was told Allah is watching me. Allah might punish me. So you flogging a child, because there are some teachers that even the kind of beating they will give a child, you feel they are beating a rock. You understand? But it shouldn't be. Beating, I don't really like that beating. I'm solely for I punish and I counsel. So when discipline is too much is when you begin to beat a child, hurling abuses on a child, telling him this, if I ever see you repeat that, you are very stupid. Who told you to do this? No, it will dim the child's spirit. So anytime he wants to, he'll feel like, and when it's too much again, the child will be like, after all, is it not beating? Let them beat me now. I'm used to it. So
they
what
get
is it?
Used to it at some
exactly.
point.
Then again, if you're too timid as in, no. Why did you do that? Don't do that. He did it once. Why did you do that? It's not good. Don't do that. He did it twice. Why did you do that? He will now take you as what this one is rubbish. That is true. He will not respect you, and it will be like, I don't know, this, I can have my way. I can have my way. But when you interweave the two and like, you did this wrong. This is very bad. Don't do this. It's very bad. You as a Muslim growing up, you shouldn't do that. You're not supposed to bully your fellow mate. It's bad. If somebody bullies you, will you be happy? Don't do that. You took somebody's pencil. You're not supposed to take that. If you want pencil, ask for it. If you misplaced your word, excuse me, please, can I use your pencil? Or come to me, ask for my pencil. I will give it to you. You understand? But in whatever situation you want to do it in a loving way. When you do something in a loving way, the day then you will now like stare up and like, why did you do that? The child will know that what I did was very, very bad because you are not used to it. But because you are always used to shouting and these kids of this generation, you'll be surprised with like whatever you do, just like, what is it? And some, their heart is so hardened now that wallahi one will do something, man, he will look up to your face and stand on that he didn't do it. You can even show him a camera that look at what you have done.
He'll deny
wallahi,
it.
He will deny it wholehearted that I knew, it is not me. Because last week I had an issue. This girl, she's just 4 years old. We give fruits, as I told you, fruit in school. So she now went home and told her mom that she was not given fruit. So I was like, the mom called me. This girl was not given fruit. I was like, and I called the nanny. Nanny, did you give this girl fruit? She said, she gave her that. Even her classmates can attest to it. And I called the mom. She was given. She now said, no, the girl said she was not given. And I said, oh, no problem. She now said she can only confirm from her class teacher that she was given. And I said, okay. I now called the class teacher and I said, okay, call the mom and tell her. She now told her that she was given. She now said that it's okay, but still she was not convinced. So the next day it was on a Friday. So on Monday when the girl came to school, I now called her. You said you were not giving fruit. She said, yes, I was not giving fruit. I now called Nanny. Nanny, did you give her fruit? Nanny said, yes, I gave her fruit. She now looked at her. Didn't I give you fruit? No, you did not give me fruit. I now called 2 of her mates from the class. Was she giving fruit? She was giving fruit. But you said you were not giving. Yes, I was not giving fruit.
Wow, the confidence.
Wallahi, as in 4 years. So I was like, okay, and I said, whatever you do, fear Allah. And there's a camera that took your picture when you were being given the food. Let me go and get the camera and I will show you what you did. Okay, I was given.
Now she's
I was like, so I now said, next time, if you are giving something, don't lie. Maybe you were given, but you were not given enough. You wanted more. You will say, I need more. But don't lie. You understand?
Yeah.
It's a very, very bad thing for you to lie. But had it been eating, I was very angry with how can I call all these witnesses and this girl is sitting, like maybe I might even give her a slap or maybe hit her. Next time, if I see this, next time she'll be like, okay. So you understand?
Yeah, I do.
But now, you counsel her. She's a little child, but she knows what she's doing. You counsel her like, tell her, okay, no. Next time, don't do this. Wallahi, next time, she won't do it.
Very true.
The next Friday, when they gave her food. She came to me, I will see my food. And I said, very good, go and take your food. But had it been I shouted at her and I was hurling abuses on her, she'd be like, You understand? So you just learn to interweave the two. Don't be too harsh.
And don't be too lax.
You just like, okay, it's no. You also make sure you show a child that everything has a price. Everything in this life, whether good or bad, everything has a price. And so that child should grow up knowing that when I was in school, I schooled far. My parents were not with me. But because of that word that was in me that I was given, wallahi, whatever I want to do, I'm always conscious. So it's now in this generation that we are living, I was like, okay, I'm quite temptations. So say when you being alone, nobody tell you do this or don't do that. Wasu a gaban iyayensu ma suna yi, but wasu kuma ka rike Allah, no matter how far they take them, they tend to limit them, to hold themselves and do the right thing. It's all about the upbringing and the prayers. That is just it. It's Allah's doing and not your own doing. So the most important and basic thing, a child, let me tell you, a child is just like a seed, you understand? And the house in which that child is living, it's just like what would I call it? The garden.
The soil,
yeah. The soil where you sow that seed. Then the teachers, the parent and the caregivers, they are like the gardeners. If they don't water, plug out the weeds, do the necessary, that child will grow up as in, being a nuisance to the society. But when that seed is being nurtured, definitely, even people pass by are like, wow, this is a very beautiful plant. You understand? Nice. So that is just how it is. That's how it is.
Right. So you mentioned this generation, there are temptations and stuff. And I was thinking, with your generation, when you were growing up, things were different. And now, how do you think parents of nowadays should train their children? Because upbringing starts from the home before you go to school.
What is happening now is most parents of this generation, they have failed. And that I'm inclusive. I'm not taking myself out. Most of the parents of these days, they have failed. When we're growing up, the discipline, our parents were not really knowledgeable. But that's I'm still hanging on that stock while I'm telling you what they had, as in mu ba mu iya ba amma Allah ka rike hannun mu. They were not more knowledgeable, as in sun iya wani karatun Qur'ani, sun san wasu hadisai. They don't know all the hadith, the Quran. They don't really know it. It is the little Fatiha and Falaki da Nasi that they held on to. But that taqwa in them wasn't Allah kai ne me. But now the knowledge is so vast.
Very.
And yet things are bad. They are wrong. Absolutely wrong. Then with the advent of parents of this generation, they are so lazy. As in extremely lazy. As in what I'm telling you, I don't even know if there happen to be any word in the dictionary for me to even qualify this laziness in parents of this generation. Parents of this generation just want to have it, as in, they don't care. Let me give you an example. There's a neighbor. Her child, he's 13 years old. She has her husband. She has herself, both parents living together. I think he's the firstborn, then with his younger ones. When he comes back from school, normally you come back from school, you rest a little, go for Islamia. He doesn't go for Islamia. At times with his uniform, he will be roaming around the streets, playing with this Almajiri, using their phone to watch Nonen's titi inside their phone. The mother, she's inside the house.
She doesn't know.
When she was like, why didn't this child go to Islamia? Wallahi sun dawo daga makaranta ya gaji. You understand? Ya gaji, but he could go out and be watching film with Almajiri. So now when he was going to Boko, be gaji, but when it was time for him to go to Islamia, ya gaji. You understand? Tell me, what kind of a mother is she? And when something happens to my teacher, ko kuma ta haba, na gaji. How can a mother say ta gaji? I call kin gaji, you don't say it out. Kin gaji, tell your Allah. He's the only person you will tell kin gaji, then he say gaza miki. Am I you telling me as a human being na gaji to me zan miki? Is it me that will come and train your child for me? And besides, if I even take it upon myself to want to train your child, ani fa ba na son takura, kar a takura wa dana, a bar su kawai, komi lokaci ne, kaza, and you grow up with that thing. Non-entity irin komi an bashi can do whatever he wants. Shi ma haka zai tashi in yaje gidan shi. This is how the generation up to haka abin zai ta tafiya. You understand? He does not value makarantar allo or makarantar Islamiyya. It's not in his value. Even secondary school, ma lokacin zai tashi da safe ba tafi ba a ce sun yi latti ne. You understand? So me, like in school now, once it's 8:10, my gate is closed. Unless if I know, most parents will come in and sorry, please, because they know maybe along the way I have a problem with my car or something came up, please, I'll come a little bit late. So, okay, that one is good. But if you're a habitual late comer, you come once it's 10 minutes past 8, you go back home with your child. Saurin nan ya yawa, nace ba yawa yayi ba. Komi nace baka taba zama Lagos ba, kaji suna faɗa da asuba karfe 3 suka tashi suke fara shiryawa. Ba mutane bane? Me yasa suka fi mu? Everything of us, we are just relaxed. You understand? I don't know whether waiting for manners to fall from heaven for us. I don't understand. Ki ga mace tana sai da kosai, ƴaƴanta sana zuwa university. And in suka gama university din sun zo hutu sai sun zo sun tsaya ta sai da kosai da yankar me ugu suke sayarwa a kasuwa. Amma kai naki ke kin je waje kina sai da kosan. Yana cikin daki ko tana cikin daki tana dannan waya. In kin gama sayar da kosai ki je kuma ki dafa mata abinci a ciki kuma ta ci kuma ki wanke. For heaven's sake, what kind of a parent are you? And tomorrow you say, wallahi sun gagare ni, ke kika gagari kanki. You understand? So, dan mutum saboda tarbiya, I've told you have to make your heart stone as a rock, as in, sai kin jajirce kin ga zuciyarki cewa ba sani ba sabo. You will spare the rod and spoil the child. No. You have to just interwoven the two together that, okay, ya kamata ga abin da ya dace in yi, ga abin da bai dace in yi ba. But there is no way all the time kice wai kina sanyi. Tarbiya ba zai yiwu a haka ba. In as much as you will counsel, akwai lokacin kuma da you use an iron hand and su counsel sun sani in kaza ta kama ki fa kaza, I know what shine you play with them with the body irin kina canja fuska sun san cewa okay, now it's time for students, let's all restrain, let's do the right thing. Amma kullun har yaro ce miki come and do this, gaskiya ni fa umma na gaji, ki bari kawai sai an jima, as in say at her own will, that is when she do it. Baki isa ba. Okay. You understand? No matter how tired you are, you must do that thing, because I stood to make you who you are today. When I was carrying you up and down in my stomach, was it easy? Me yasa ni ma lokaci bace okay to dan zauna ka isa ba yanzu ba za ka fito sai, and you understand?
Yeah.
So please, it's parents of we really have much to do, parents of this generation. I'm appealing to all of you listening as a parent, please and please know that raising a child, it's not an easy task. Allah gave you that amana, you understand? And it's not just and amana, it's something that is very, very difficult. Until you ask for Allah's help to help you, that is when you'll be able to raise that child and see that child the way you want to see that child. If you look around, all around, whatever child you see that is making it in the society, a child that is really doing well, a child that is being respectful, know that he had a very, very good and resilient mother. That is it. Even all these Sahabai, all these scholars, it was their mother. And had it been their mothers were just, you understand, just like we are now, we wouldn't have had anything to hold on to. So how about things are going? The generation we are in, if we are not resilient and bring our kids the way we are supposed to do, then what do we have that the next generation will also hold on to, just like we are holding on to the ones that we're giving? You understand? So please, we really have a lot to do. We have a lot to do. It's not all about buying biscuit for your child, buying chocolate, buying PS5, doing this. No, that is not it. Make sure that there is reward for everything. Okay, throughout this week, why when can share I can share there kamata, okay, the kaisan fita, maybe I'll take you for an outing, I'll go and buy this one day baby but in the sashi. Next nima boregi now, so but nima so you understand. With that, just know, tell each other for everything there's a reward, because even as you are in dunya now, Allah is going to reward you for what you do, and He will punish you for what He asked you not to do and you did. So we should always be conscious of that, you understand? Because whatever you do, our deen has spelled everything for us. But it's just that we're just sliding our eyes as in Bansu and Gani Shedan the machines, she resigning, because it is the human beings that are now the share things that are locking around. May Allah
guide us. I hope you're listening and you're learning, because there's a lot to unpack from this conversation. We'll be back after a short break. What does it look like to live a life of purpose, growth, and impact? In Season 2 of Beyond Small Talk, we explore service and self-development with guests that give back to society in their own unique ways. From upbringing, education, financial literacy, self-awareness, compatibility, religion, reading culture, and mentorship, they share valuable insights on how we can do better and thrive together. Personal development starts from the things we read, the things we listen to, and the things we consume. So tune in for these inspiring conversations on self-discovery and growth. Join us as we go beyond the surface to the deeper truths. All right, welcome back. Hajiya Bilkisu, you've taught us about how to discipline, how to balance between being too lenient and being too harsh. And you've also told us how we need to be rewarding good behavior. I'm sure that's what you teach your students in your school. How do you deal with parents that don't allow you to properly punish or teach their children when they've done something wrong?
Yeah, in such situation, we call the parents.
Okay.
We call them over, we have a talk with them. That you should know that it's not as if we're after your kids, we just want to just punish your kids because we just feel like. No, there's a purpose for everything. This is what your child did. If you were in such a situation, how would you handle the child? Yeah, I'll handle him differently, but okay, now, let's say, okay, maybe your child has been consistently stealing from somebody, maybe stealing pencil or eraser or whatever. If you were to be a teacher, how will you handle that situation? They'll be looking at you. No, we want you now to tell us how to punish your child. What measures do you think we should use for your child? No. It's just a straightforward answer. Answer us. How do we deal with such situations? They'll keep mum. So we'll not tell them that. Nobody finds pleasure in just beating up your child or telling your child, kneel down, hold your ear, do this kind of corporal punishment. No, there's a reason for it. And for each child, you look at their age. You can't just a 3-year-old child that you carry in and be beating the child, or your legs should be up and your head down. Mm. You can't give a 3-year-old corporal punishment. But in such child, don't do that. Don't ever repeat such thing again. It's all right. Some parents are very understanding. They're like, okay, maybe it's just an explanation, communication that will make them understand that, okay, it's not as if you're after their kids. Why some parents, they are so adamant, they were like, no. If my child is wrong, I don't want anybody to touch my child. Don't touch my child. Just let him be like that. And so in such situation, honestly, I don't condone it. You pack your child and go where they will and condone you and your non-entity. But before you go, I'll make you understand that that child is an amana. So please, I'm after the child, not you. So please make sure that wherever you're taking that child, if the parent had something in them, they were like, okay, for Hakani. Or like after 1 or 2 times, you'll see them, they'll come back. They come back. Why some? You're like, sorry, this is upon the shit, then you can get that. They will just like go away. So, but we always make sure that we invite them, have a talk that, okay, this is the reason why this is being dished out on your child, and this is the reason why we took this measure. So please, but if you feel there's another way you feel we can deal with such situation for your child, you're welcome. You can give it to us, and we are open to we'll take it. And most of them, they are very understanding, and they like, okay, now I've gotten a better explanation. Okay, I understand why you did this, why you did that. And some even come to me that, okay, please, my child did this, even at home, please, I want you to punish him in school because of where in some I was like, no, don't make it that it is only in school that you can punish, that your child can be punished. That no. While he's at home also, I would like maybe give them 1 or 2 things. Do this, do this, do this. Maybe you are used to giving him such. Withdraw it. If you don't do this, I'm not going to give you that. You understand? With that, like, why? Like, okay, if he comes back from school, he keeps his bag. He was up. She does not see him until late, maybe after Maghrib or Isha. She doesn't see him. And he sleeps in your house. How old is he? He's 11. But what are you doing about it? Don't do that. When he comes back, when he came to school, I now called him, I sat him down. Why do you always go out? You don't know that your mommy is not happy? Don't you know what Allah said? You are even growing up to be a man, and your Jannah is under the feet of your mother. Don't you know if you are making her angry, even if she doesn't say it, don't you know Allah will punish you? You don't want to grow up to be a big man. Whatever that is the example that everybody is using. You don't want to be or even surpass him. I want to be like, then but you have to obey your parents. It is very, very important. Really, you come back from school, eat your food, maybe rest a little. Even if you don't want to rest, just sit at home. When it's time for Islamia, you go, but stop going around. You might go and meet bad friends, and that's not good for you. Your mother is not happy about it. And wallahi, after some time, she'll come back. I did not tell him anything that you wouldn't have said.
Told, yeah,
it's just as simple as just what's in your suit. They don't have the patience. If they start hauling abuses on the child, then kaza, even just bring me that cup. Then kaza na koma cup and chat. Then kaza jeka ajemo cup. Why? And that kaza is following him, but they don't know. They just feel how it's part of us. It shouldn't be so. You should be very, very mindful of what comes out of your mind. It's just like what they said about, what is it called? Surah is when, all this other, when they are having their feast, everything. She, after making so much, she was expecting visitors. Carried sand and poured inside, she was like, Ya salam. Look, you could see there is anger in her, but she was, may Allah bless you. May you be the Imam of Masjid al-Haram. You understand?
Yes,
But Anamfa, it then
insult. You
understand?
Yeah.
We don't always learn how to control ourselves. That's our main problem. Yes, we don't control ourselves. One look at you, I tend to get, because I feel as a mother, if you get angry, when that anger alone, Allah will use it against those children.
Honestly.
A mother is angry, and so Allah, why should a mother be angry? You understand? When the anger comes, Hasbunallah. Because she doesn't get you shut it. Ya Allah, or just, you can even just go to your room, even if it is to cry, go and cry. So, oh yeah, Allah, you can see what these kids are doing to me. Ya Allah, turn their heart, let them, you understand? But by the time you say you want to use that anger instantly, at the end of the day, at that moment, you might not even see it. Wallahi, maybe say after she and that thing will come and be following that child. Still, you still be part of the problem. So you have to, you have to use wisdom, especially in dealing with parents, because you must use wisdom. But then I'm somebody like, I don't know how to pretend. Politics, to be diplomatic, I don't really know how to use it. One look at if you are in it, you are in it. If you are not in it, please find your way. But still, the kind of dishing out tarbiya dole, you have to learn to juggle between the two, as in, okay, there was a mistake that was done. I hired a teacher, she came. So she felt, discipline. So after every 2 weeks, make it hairstyle, they will barb their hair.
Yeah.
You understand? So say the guy they didn't barb their hair. So I didn't know, say the scissors. Say chipping, as in to show their parents, why didn't you grab their hair? Nkaje gida ay maka babin hair. Some parent now called me, yes, I wear aski kaza. Say that I'm so sorry this happened, you understand? But kuma ay an gaya muku ay kaza, but dan Allah ta annabi ku yi hakuri ba zai ƙara faruwa ba. It's just she's new. She doesn't really know kaza. Why should I say, we are all human beings and we make mistakes. We can't be perfect. So that Allah ay hakuri. Most of the parents understood. But there was one particular parent da ya kira ni a waya. Me yasa aka yi wa yaro na aski? Na ce kaza sai na ce dan Allah da annabi kai ki gaya mu in yi hakuri. Wace ce ta mashi aski? Sai na zo makaranta da ya ringa dura ashar. He was not even minding the fact that okay, wannan matar da nake magana ita matar aure shi and na girme shi. But the fact that wai ya kawo yaron shi makaranta na, that gave him the audacity to call me on phone and start hauling nonsense and insult on me. Sai da ce na shiru ya gama abin da zai gama da ya gama kuma so God so kind. I'm this person that in dai muna waya da kai ina gama faɗan abin da zan faɗa na datse waya, but God so kind rana kawai sai na gama ya gama faɗan abin da zai faɗa ya katse wayan shi. Sai na ce to no problem. Sai the next day sai ban ga yaran ba, sai na ce very good. Na ce dama ni abin da nake so gida ma kullum ni ina du'a duk wanda they are bad eggs, Allah should be extracting them out for me because I don't want any toxicity or bad energy in the school. After some time kuma sai ya zo. Hajiya ban ce mashi komai ba. Yara ne na sun dawo makaranta. Dama da na yi niyya ne in zo a yi min calculating sauran raguwan kuɗin kawai a bani kayana zan cire ƴaƴana. Ban ce mishi komai ba. Da kin san makarantar da suke ai wance kaza makaranta kaza suke kaza. Ni dai ban ce mishi baki ce komai ba. Muka dai ce akwai abin da kake son ce maka ne. Mana ai da sai a bani haƙuri. Okay. Ba za ma ki ce wani abu kenan. Still I didn't say anything. Honestly, I didn't say anything. Ya gama. To ai shi kenan. Ba matsala. He left. So I was still thinking that the kids will not come back.
But he still.
And that he has one particular son that one night, that day that he didn't come to school, 2 days ago, the school was in Kingani, there was sanity.
There was peace.
You understand?
Yeah.
But still, now the other she. So it would be bad of me to say,
yeah.
You understand? Innocent su kuma yaran fa. So you understand? So wani abun dole, abun yana maka ciwo, but haka dai zaka hakura. Yes, exactly.
I feel like there's something very special about your school because you're not just focusing on education, you're really focused on character and raising the kids.
Character modeling, that is the most important thing. Well, honestly, you know what? Mostly my teachers are trained. Once a lesson is going on, let's say you're having numeracy. Because I take a class too, because I make sure, especially the last class, basic 5, those that are going into JS1, I make sure I'm always the one taking them. Because I really want to, because, a lokacin they say, that what we call that their puberty stage, in Tashan Balaga, and they feel ahead in their head. So, wow. So, a lokacin zaka ringa teaming incident, say, kullum abin da zaku just fear Allah. You're going to JS1 now. From JS1, before you know what is happening now. People don't write because one of my nephew was telling me 2 years ago, I was telling him, go and read for WAEC. And then a karatun WAEC. So I was angry. I was like, why should he tell me and then a karatun? So I now realize that really it is true and then a karatun WAEC. In as much as students will carry phone and enter inside the hall and they'll be sending them answers. Tell me which karatun kuma ake. No. And then a karatun WAEC. And then it's just unfortunate. So I was like telling them, Aaron, do this. So once a subject is going on, I always try to tell the teachers that if you have 45 minutes to teach a subject, use at least 15 minutes to tell them real life acts. You understand? Caution them, counsel them, tell them what is right and what is wrong. You're doing mathematics, okay, kaza. I lokaci kaza, anye kaza. But still, when you're teaching, just don't use that 45 minutes to just teaching them 1 plus 2, 1 plus 1, 1 all over 3. Use chip in life for them to don't make them feel that okay, there was a time I was teaching there, I was like, okay, do you know what it means to be in your grave? They were like looking at me, grave. Let's say, for example, in this class, after everybody has gone, once it's 2, do you meet anybody in this school? No, there's nobody in this school. Okay, let's say in this class, you're alone. Everybody has left. Everybody has gone home. Then I'll come and lock all these windows and I'll also lock this door inside. You'll be left all alone. At least there is space. You can go from this wall to this wall. You understand? Yeah, but still you'll be scared that, there's nobody in this school. Do you understand? And I said, okay, remember your grave. This wall that you go from wall to wall, when you're in your grave, you don't have that access to even move. So whatever you do, fear Allah. Be good to your parent. Even as you are going, maybe you're going, you bought pure water, you're drinking. I hate it to see. Kin san Allah ko a daidaita sau nake naga mutum ya sha ruwan pure water ya
throws it away.
in dai I have access I have to wait say me yasa zaka yar. The same a daidaita sau in na hau in ya yarda pure water wallahi sai mun tsaya ya dauka. That is how, yes.
Yeah.
So, like one particular guy da yake yawan dauka na in ya sha ruwa yana shan ruwa zai kalle ni sai ya aje na ce put it in your phone in ka sauka inda ka
find a dustbin.
Why should it ki ga mutum a motar shi babban mutum ya sha ko roba sai ya wulla waje. It doesn't speak, it speaks how that person is. So gaskiya it's the most important thing to me. It's not all about you going to, you learn to read and write, but the basic thing is be disciplined. Be disciplined. Your character should be molded. You should always stand out wherever you are. And you should always be conscious of Allah wherever you are. Even if nobody is watching, just have it at the back of your mind that Allah is watching you. That is just it. And you have peace.
Are there any success stories or something you're very proud of your school?
Sure, honestly, sure. Because, these kids, at times you'll be doing things, you feel there and they are not watching and they are oblivious of the fact that nothing is happening. Just this the previous ones, their parents call me. And me gaskiya ba abin da zamu ce miki Allah ya saka miki da alkhairi. That is just wallahi in all the prayers you do. This is the only prayer I need in my life. Allah ya saka miki da alkhairi. Ya saki ga my life here. That is all. At times my people were like, okay, for 5 years, getting to 6 years now, okay, kin say fili, which fili? Na makaranta mana, you are living in a rented, when it will come, it will come. The day Allah will read that, okay, got 1 billion, take say fili in the raina. Good and fine. But for now, I just take it as it is. The only where in Azan Kaisu. I'm going alone to my grave. That is just it. My kids, the basic thing I can give them is kawa in Bas, Tarbia. Nobody left anything for me, so they should go and look for their own. But one the only way when the Tara one headache. No, I'm not into that. So they are happy that at times they as parents, if they are doing something, their kid will tell them, I'm because I used to tell them, even if your parent, we have to have meeting. We used to have meeting every term, first term for fathers, second term for mothers, then third term for both fathers, both parents. I was like, okay, you now staying in front of your kid, insulting your leaders, even if that leader is bad, you don't do that. What are you telling that child? So, like last week now, something happened. 2 of them in basic fact, they came to meet me. I was in the office, they came. This one, tell her. The other one was like, no, you tell her. I was just looking at them by my eyes. They didn't say anything. The later I was like, what is it? Amy, please. They now noticed 2 of their teachers. They now told me that, Amy, we used to tell her that we should always clip our nails, do this, do that. Please, can you tell Miss Kaza and Miss Kaza to clip their nails?
Wow.
So I was like, oh, they have long nails? They said yes. And I said, okay, no, just pretend nothing happened. Go. I said, thank you. So I now called one of the teachers. I now said, you give, you're nurturing these kids, right? For them to do the right thing and defend themselves from the bad thing. They said yes. And I said, okay. Now, every Mondays we check their nails, right? If it's clipped, their hair done, they said yes. I said, okay. In a situation, naturally, if I ask you now to give me 1 million, do you have? She was like, no, I don't have one. I was like, how about 50,000? She now said, no, okay. And I said, okay, now give me 2,000. She now said, honestly, I don't have money. I said, you don't have 2,000. What will you use in going home? No, I only have 500 naira for my transport. And I said, good. And I said, if I ask you to give me just 2,000, you don't have. If I force you now to give you that 2,000, will you be able to give it to me? She said, no. So you see, you can never give what you don't have. She said, yes. So I said, in as much as you have to give discipline, there are some things that you don't have it, but you cannot give. But when it comes to discipline, even if you don't have, you must go and look for it and put it in you in order for you to dish it out to this kid.
Others, yeah.
Now you're telling this kid to clip their nails. I can see that your nail is long. So how do you tell them? Don't you know there are, these kids, they are very smart. She was like, and I said, please clip your nails. What are you even keeping your nails for? Which guy you? I don't even understand. What are you keeping the nails for?
Lead by example.
She said, okay, so I'm very sorry, ma. I will clip it. Fine. The next day I called the other one. The other one, I did, and I never even noticed her, but this kid noticed it. She's long that she even put that black lele ne a ciki. Oh, Allah me iko. Nace ‘yan mata kenan. Nace to wannan kuma wannan farcen fa zako haka. Ko mene sunan cartoon din witches and the one ne nace ina za ku da shi nace boy it's not good. Yanzu kin ce wa yaran da they should clip their nail and yours is long. How do even you within yourself? Are you being conscious? Will you even be satisfied? You're not doing something, you're telling somebody to do it. It doesn't even rhyme.
Makes sense.
Okay. I would, but I'm very sorry. But so please, let's always learn to do the right thing. Even if you are not doing it for yourself, do it for the fact that you are giving it out to somebody so that the person will know that, okay, yes, this person deserves to give me. So it's just something like that. But honestly, most of these parents, their feedback is just on that morality, on discipline. Honestly, that is just why most of them love the school. That is because I don't play with it, because I don't play with it. Ko irin kin san mun saba. Wallahi tallahi da naji, that wallahi tallahi, I always make them to know that Allah ba abun wasa bane. You can't just be calling wallahi tallahi just for no stupid reasons because I want you to do wallahi na je gidansu. Why must you put wallahi then kin je gidansu? You understand? Just say na je gidansu ba sai kin ce wallahi kaza ba. So those little things that you might think doesn't matter, to me it matters, and that is what I'm hammering on. It should matter. That is the most basic thing. But when you are the most intelligent way, yeah, you can be that one. It will supplement it, but the basic thing is have that morals, be disciplined. That is just it.
Very true. Yeah. I'm sure people will be very interested to know the name of your school. So we haven't mentioned that. Please, can you tell us the name of your school?
Well, the name of the school is Lions Academy. Okay. They are at Scott Road beside Novomed.
Mashallah. Yeah. So if you have kids, Mama Bilkisu, may this school be far beyond anything you've ever expected.
Thank you so very much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I know and I hope that Northern Business will, just for this selfless service alone, Allah will always make sure that this goes beyond your own even imagination, inshallah.
Thank
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, so one final question before you leave. The theme of this season is service and self-development. What you're doing for kids is a great act of service, honestly. So we want to know in a sentence, and what does service mean to you?
Service is something, people have different ways of defining what service is, but to me, service is what you offer selflessly to people in the bid that those people are satisfied with what you have given them.
MashaAllah. We need to quote that and put it somewhere. Thank you so much, Mama, because it has been a very enlightening session. I loved having this discussion with you.
Thank you so
much. And
I
hope you people have learned and you will apply everything that she taught us here today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next session.